Everyone was buzzing about this outrageous PDA. Really, after all the anticipation of Christine and David making out in front of the children, I was expecting something really extravagant. But instead they held hands, exchanged a few quick kisses, and perhaps Christine was a little more excited than David, but even that was fairly subdued. To be honest, when it occurred, they weren't even directly in front of the children. On the platform where the ceremony would take place, they were off. In contrast, it seemed much more awkward to break off their hand-holding session during the lap dancing moment. It felt a bit excessive. Additionally, Isabel turned aside when he saw a kiss. It's a little awkward, to be sure, but remember, mothers are also individuals. Are we implying that having children entails completely putting an end to amorous activity? I'll be honest now. Christine is completely changing the situation. Hey, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel TLC Flicks. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Whatever. Given that she instilled those values in her girls, it would seem like a great leap to go from modest to public demonstrations of affection. Perhaps easing them in a little might make them feel more at ease. And then there's the pressure to marry. How about sharing a home first? See how it goes. After all, we live in the 21st century. In any case, as a German living in the US, I would like to express my opinion that the PDA itself isn't the true problem. The primary issue is that, while being reared with really conservative values, Christine is now publicly showing admiration for a man she has just recently met. Christine continues to go forward despite truly obvious discomfort, even taking her daughter to see wedding venues just a few weeks into their relationship. And this is from a highly liberal European who is accustomed to beach culture and saunas without shame. The pace and the way her daughter's feelings are being neglected are more important than the PDA. Watching this season develop is incredibly depressing, especially given Kody's irascible and aloof behavior. I want him to swallow his pride, approach his kid, and give him the kind of hug that screams, "I'm sorry," since he only has one more year left with Garrison. Even adults are capable of making errors. Kody has previously gone through the shock of losing someone. You'd think that having lost his brother in a car accident when they were both young would make him value his time with his children even more. But instead he's letting his pride and stubbornness cause them to grow so far apart. This is a show I've always adored. I've been faithfully following it, and it's been strangely reassuring. But now that Garrison is gone, there's a sense of dread watching this season because you know where it's going. Even while I adore reality TV, I find it difficult to ignore my guilt. Seeing something that seems so intrusive causes a certain amount of uneasiness. Perhaps it's too candid to say, but I'm beginning to doubt my loyalty to the program because of the way it emphasizes and takes advantage of these family issues, and we're beginning to see the cost. Watching things unfold feels strange, like a wake-up call wrapped in a show we can't stop watching, even though reality TV is intriguing. The way the new Flagstaff huge home emphasizes the unequal distribution of earnings from the program is what truly irritates me about it. The popularity of the program was greatly influenced by the children's participation, which was mandatory. However, none of them appear to have profited financially directly. Parents typically provide equitable support for all of their children, and paying for vehicles, insurance, and other necessities is an additional. Although Kody and Robin appear to have set themselves up to control an excessive amount of the show's earnings, Kody has always had the last word on family budgets. The cost of this enormous estate would not have been as significant if the riches created had been equitably distributed among the original 5 adults and if trust funds had been established for each of the Brown children. What's really annoying is the difference. Without them, a mansion wouldn't exist. The 3 original wives and their children. To be honest, I don't believe that legalizing polygamy would significantly alter this result. Given his financial dominance, Kody is able to assign credit where credit is due and make the major spending decisions, whether or not he is married. However, Kody and Robin are undoubtedly using their TLC funds quickly, and it's possible that they won't have much left over. The first 3 wives, meanwhile, made wise financial decisions without Kody's help. In order to create stable futures for themselves and their kids, they have established enterprises that generate consistent revenue. In the long run, that kind of vision is more valuable than any reality TV payoff because, let's face it, those paintings and priceless antiquities won't be worth anything. This scene from this weekend's episode caught my attention, and I found Mary's dialogue with her sister Rebecca and brother-in-law Nathan, who also happens to be Kody's best friend, to be really valuable. Mary says she responded sentimentally to Kody's question about why she didn't preserve any of her emotive belongings, citing a failed marriage as the reason. "The kicker, is that how you see it?" was Nathan's remark. He just got this amazing "wow, you're such a moron" response from Rebecca. "Roll your eyes." I laughed out loud. As an aside, I've always been curious about Nathan and Rebecca. Does Mary have any siblings who are still polygamous, and were they ever in a polygamous arrangement? In any case, Mary could have said that Kody lit her house on fire, and Nathan would still have responded, "Oh, is that how you see it?" Nathan's entire demeanor was so contemptuous. He seems committed to downplaying what she says, as though Mary is exaggerating in some way, even though he knows she isn't. Nathan apparently had a second wife, but she departed. Since he and Kody are always screaming about how unfair polygamy is to males while saying it's great for women because it gives them choices, I'm genuinely tired of them. They behave as if polygamy were a theme park attraction where everyone is excited to be present. In actuality, polygamy frequently results in entitled men with several families and women who are left to raise their children alone while earning too. While the queen wife receives the resources, the other wives and children are left to struggle for care, medical attention, and financial support of any kind. But fine, guys keep referring to it as paradise. I completely understand. The priorities of the show seem to have changed significantly. Everyone is frustrated by Kody and Robin's apparent wealth accumulation. And it seems like we confirm their entire system the more we pay attention. It's one thing to help the other women, but they've grown up and are capable of taking care of themselves. Perhaps now, rather than passing judgment, everyone, including the viewers, should allow the entire family to go on since they deserve a better life than being America's favorite polygamous family. It still amazes me that they kept shooting after Garrison's death. This is a major factor in my sense of disconnection with it, yet it's hard to even bring up. That being said, is it strangely difficult for anyone else to turn away? I get what Opie is saying, but even though this story has lost its entertainment value, I can't help but want to see it through to the end for some reason. I feel as though I dread watching, yet I do. We implore anyone else in the same situation. Turn down the sound when Christine and David are making out. Wade is getting too much stirring, macaroni energy from it. I signed a disgruntled fan, Pius. Please mute their mix during these scenes, even though I don't mind the kissing. It's just too much slurping. We just concluded Season 6, Episode 12, where all the mothers-in-law visit the town. And while Kody gave Robin a gift that was likely 4 times more expensive than what he got for the other spouses, something else really stood out to me as I rewatched Sister Spouses with my nanny. Alice, Robin's mother, also engages in this strange act of pretending to cry. She talks about plural marriage without even sobbing, but she shrinks her face as if she's having a breakdown and adopts the same dramatic crying accent. I knew right away. As I've seen more episodes, I've discovered that Robin's daughter is also engaging in this behavior. This conduct is obviously learned and intended for manipulation. 3 generations of these is crazy. This is what all women do. How do you all feel? Was Alice's mother the one who taught her this? And really, why hasn't someone informed them that it's obnoxious and obvious? Regarding my nanny, she serves primarily as a companion for me as I watch. In any case, it appears that they have all realized that playing the victim and seeming to cry will win them attention and sympathy. The issue is that the children and the first 3 spouses can see right through it. Perhaps it took them some time to recognize it because at first they wanted to assume the best about Robin and her family, but finally it got so boring that they stopped being involved in that drama. This is what you would refer to as learned behaviors and generational victimization. Despite the unpopular belief that attentive couples should hold hands and kiss, Christine's children seem to be unaware of this and are trapped in a world where affection is merely a myth. To be honest, almost everyone has seen their parents share a special moment at some point. It isn't particularly difficult. Her children seem to believe that we liked it more when Mom was traveling alone after years of putting up with a less than ideal scenario. She doesn't need to be pictured as a human who gasps for her own wishes. Let's be honest, they're probably wriggling over more than just casual kisses. Even though our teenagers may roll their eyes when my husband and I express affection. Hugs, kisses, the works. If we indulged in intense makeout sessions, I could almost hear their collective moans from here. Everything has its proper place and time. Before I saw some of those emotional instances, such as when Christine and her boyfriend were literally stuck together in public, I thought everyone was overreacting to the PDA. Yes, There is a thin line between showing everyone you care for and making them want to rip their eyes out in a humorous way. Let's just say it can be a little extreme when it reaches a public level of passion, even though it could seem awkward for the kids. Let's engage in some hypothetical play. Do you think die-hard Christine and David defenders would have been so willing to praise Christine and her new beau if the season had begun with them instead of the wedding special? Knowing that everything ends with Christine's dream wedding makes it simple to support the couple. Please understand that I'm not disparaging David and Christine. Considering that they recently celebrated their 1-year anniversary, I'm quite thrilled for her. Let's face it though, if this were actually happening right now rather than 2 years later, seeing Christine look at wedding venues with a man she's just known for 5 minutes would raise some serious concerns. It's not as though David and his family were totally unaware of sister wives, or that Christine was unmarried after all. Even though everything turned out well in the end, it seems like some people are coming to their defense just because they are aware of a happy conclusion. We might have witnessed the evolution of David and Christine's love if that wedding special hadn't been a spoiler. Heck, we might have even seen her with other men. However, the producers are omitting the true love story because we already know they are getting married. They seem to be jumping right to the wedding cake without explaining how they arrived at it. My hypothesis is that in order to play a practical joke on Kody, Christine is essentially drumming him in PDA. It's about time, isn't it? She has been the target of abuse for years, with Kody publicly disparaging her, playing the victim, and dragging her through the mud. She is now playing a wonderful game and flipping the roles. In this drama, she is more than simply a naive player. She is well-versed in human nature and public opinion. Christine has maintained her elegance. She typically pretends to be the bigger person and plays the moral high ground, making sure Kody always looks like the greatest idiot when she gives David or Showerton a passionate kiss. Kody gets a massive middle finger. It's her way of saying, you know what? I'm winning the story because I dumped your sorry self. The worst part is that her kids are writhing in agony from all the intense PDA while she's having her best life, so perhaps save the show for the camera and tone it down while the kids are there. Just an idea. What do we really want to see on this show? That's the age-old question. Now that season 19 is halfway gone, I'm not as entertained as a cat. Observing the drying of paint, I have really resorted to praying for something, fast-forwarding, or anything that even remotely resembles amusement. Do you remember that TLC survey that was posted on Instagram a few weeks ago? The suggested plots, such as a tender searching for a church or my Kelty's weight reduction journey, were truly groundbreaking. Why do I continue to watch these endearing idiots? If I'm being completely honest, I want Jonelle to get justice. I'm tired of seeing her marginalized as Robin rules her mansion like a polygamous queen. Without the money flow, Janelle has endured all the same bullshit as Miri, but it's enough to make anyone want to have a tantrum fit for a reality show. Can we also take a moment to discuss Robin? I've had enough of this absurd Robin redemption storyline. Despite being essentially the antagonist in this soap opera, she manages to get away with it. Instead of Kody's typical targets, I would want to see him vent his anger on her daughters Aurora and Brianna. Let's not act like they're not grown-ups after all. They should start packing and navigating the globe on their own. Not to mention Robin's purported family ideals, which she violates by denying Kody the opportunity to be present for her surgery. If I'm being totally honest, I would love to see Kody and Robin collapse into a financial catastrophe. It would almost seem poetic how unbearable they have been to the original three. Is it possible for Jing Yell to intervene on behalf of Kody's family as well? Imagine the drama when Kody's brothers tear him apart for being so severely beaten that he destroyed his own family. Not to mention Dayton. It would be amazing to watch him flip on Kody and reveal all the delicious information regarding the deceit and manipulation. After all, it's about time someone took responsibility for Kody. I'm not sure what I want to see anymore, though, if we're truly laying everything out there. Because of Garrison's unfathomable passing and Kody's unexplainable appearance on my screen, the program has grown so stale that we are constantly discussing the same 3 subjects. Now, like an old, weary buddy I can't quite get rid of, I watch out of simple obligation. This is the show I grew up watching. I need to finish it for closure, and I want to give a shout out to my fellow Palavami period students. Everything has gone so far off the initial course that it's difficult to identify. Here's my request then. Gods, please take me out of this never-ending turmoil cycle. I must finally finish this and put it to rest. Now let's discuss the tell-all hosts. Should we? I believe it's time to make a change. You're a good interviewer, Suki, but let's be honest, production obviously controls you when it comes to asking difficult questions and letting Kody touch you. Yes, that was absolutely over the line. Here is my ambitious suggestion. What about Dr. David and his wife? A married couple could have some significant advantages. For example, Nikki has her stock in her husband. I apologize, I completely forgot his name. Or Allison from Pop Psychology. To begin with, Kody may even be a little respectful of a male interviewer. Don't fool ourselves. He enjoys steamrolling ladies and doesn't exactly treat them as equals. It would also be ideal to have a wife present to refute his absurd assertions regarding marriage and his purported obligation. They can fact-check Kody and Robin in real time because they are all familiar with the show's history. No more repeating the same old plots incessantly. If you are looking for more Sister Wives gossip, come back to TLC Flicks for all your updates. Bye guys.